when people talk to you, sometimes I know they say, Jordan, I get the same thing. Why are you always so negative? Why are you so negative? And I don't have much to say to folks like that. I mean, they mean well, but they don't get it. They don't understand. There's nothing wrong with reality. Reality is certainly composed of many different facets and flavors and colors, and you can choose what you want to do. But in general, folks, we're all on a train, and we're headed to the concentration camp of life, which has been created and constructed for us very carefully over a long period of time. Henry Ford saw it coming. Many saw it coming. And they tried to, Lindbergh saw it coming, and they tried to warn people. It didn't work. So what we do here is what Jordan does there, and we try to bring you as much of reality as we can. I'm not going to present to you things that I know to be patently skewed or false and say this is the way it really is, because it isn't. And I'll do my best always to present reality. I won't even use the word truth. I'll just call it reality. And the reality of it is we are beyond oppressed, suppressed, and subjugated. Right now, financially, the average credit card debt in each home is over $25,000, probably close to $30,000 now. These people are never going to get out of debt. Look at the student loan, the crime of student loans, which is exactly what it is. It's slavery. Go ahead, Jordan.
Yeah, well, in the Old Testament, I think it was the book of Isaiah, one of the Old Testament books. Interesting, the people came to the prophet and said, why don't you ever prophesy anything happy for us? Why is it every time you come to town with your prophecies, you always prophesy doom and gloom? Why can't you prophesy something happy and nice for us? And I think, you know what, the more we change, the more we stay the same. That's what most Americans will say. Why don't you look at the bright side? There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. And I said, yes, it's a train coming, airhead. Can't you understand what's happening to you, and don't you see? And of course, in the New Testament, the Apostle Paul even said to the Christians of his day, have I become your enemy because I tell you the truth? This is the problem that we have to deal with. Not only are we people who are trying to awaken their fellow man, like Stanley Kubrick did in his movie Eyes Wide Shut. He's trying to explain to you, you're looking at the world with your eyes wide shut. And so that's the problem people like you and I have to confront, is people say, well, can't you, why don't you prophesy something happy and nice instead of always telling us with the truth and looking around? Well, there's not much, to praise now when our great government, our great freedoms are all gone, and our Constitution there's nothing more than and George Bush Jr. said, it's just a damn piece of paper. So I'm just trying to awaken my fellow man to do some homework and start reading, studying, and understanding how the world works.
We're not telling people to give up. We're telling them to wake up. Understand. At least know the limitations that have been placed on you, so you can be better able to have a chance at eking out a comfortable living for those you care about and yourself.
Of course. Not only do you have to face, and not only you know this as well as I do, not only do people have to face, like us, have to face the dark forces around the world that are arrayed against truth and light and decency. There's a whole world of business out there selling arms and guns and armaments, and war is good business. That's why you need to invest your son. And so, not only are we arrayed have all this stuff against us to start with, but then even within your own friendships and within your own family, and with a man's enemies will be those of his own household. And the scripture talks about how brother will be against brother, and people will turn you in thinking they're doing it for God. And this is what's happening today. The worst problems I've ever had are with people who call themselves religious and call themselves my friend, and turn out to be gangsters and criminals. And so I'm just amazed how much is arrayed against anyone who is trying to do something to help the human race. Today, if you stick your head up and say, I want to do something to help, then you will either go to jail, you'll pay one hell of a price to do. I'm telling you, you will pay a very dear price to try and help people, free themselves from this system. You're going to pay a price because the powers that be do not want this kind of knowledge out. George, what was his name? Carlin, talked a lot about this stuff. He was very articulate on it. And so I see the problem as education, knowledge. Knowledge is power, and the people have no education as to how the world works and where we're going and where we've come from and how it all works. And as long as you don't know, you can't do anything. You don't know your options because you have no idea in the world what's going on with government, how any of this stuff works.
Yeah. Knowledge is the most powerful commodity of all. I don't know who it was that first told me this or where I saw it written, but it simply said, knowledge is the most powerful commodity on the planet. The powers that be will let a little bit of it out from time to time to stimulate, and then when they want control, they'll reel it back in.
That's right.
And they divert the masses into the sports and beer and drugs. And we got one suicide plus. It's over one per day now in the American military. And that limit's going to go up. They are expecting 150,000 men and women who have served to commit suicide ultimately before their natural deaths in their lifetime. And it's going up all the time. It's all by design, folks. Nothing is left to chance. Nothing.
And of course, I would suggest people go. I've gotten a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails about my situation I'm having to deal with, and I've been dealing with stuff like this for years. So I would suggest going to my website. There's a lot of material on my website, but I would like to also say there's no need for anyone to buy or purchase anything off of my website for two very good reasons. One, obviously, everything on my website for sale is already out on the web for free. So why pay anything to watch something you can watch for free? So I would suggest nobody buy anything off of my website. It's all out there on YouTube. Watch it for nothing. And second of all, of course, I don't own my website. It's been taken from me. So any monies that come into that website do not go to me. I haven't seen anything off of my website in over 2.5 years, period. Nothing. I don't get anything. And so, but the reason why is I don't control my website. Somebody else has taken it. And so I would suggest don't buy anything. Just go to the website and check out the work I've been doing for the past 50 years. But I wouldn't suggest buying anything because it's all out there for free, and I'm not going to see any of it anyway. So hopefully one day I will be able to get my website back and my business back and my world and my life back. And because I've got so much more I want to talk to people about and show that I have like a 1/2 of a terabyte waiting to put new stuff on my website. An enormous amount of stuff I have just sitting and waiting, to be able to put new stuff on my website. So hopefully I'll get it back soon, and there's going to be a lot of interesting things happening this coming year. I'm looking at this 2012 thing. My feeling about this 2012 December is nothing more than in my opinion, I think it's a big bunch of nothing. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if the CIA isn't in on this like they were on
come on, you bet. The odds are they are, sure.
Yeah. What is it, the Y2K?
Any social phenomenon, any geopolitical phenomenon that just don't happen unless they're controlled. And if they do, they're immediately penetrated and co-opted.
That's it. So that's why I don't think there's going to be anything happening like the end of the world. But I do think people are going to begin to awaken to the fact that they've been had. And when they do, they're going to discover how far gone it really is, and then it's going to be seriously evil. It's going to be very, very serious. Because when people finally wake up and find out how much they've lost, and how far behind they are and what's going on in this country, it's going to be chaos because people are going to be screaming in the streets for freedom. It's going to be over. They've lost their country. They've lost their freedom. And now, of course, with the drugs and all the crime, we're just losing our minds. So I've always been out there just trying to tell people, go inside, go back to your spiritual roots, learn how to read, how to think, and get out of the system. Learn how to educate yourself and ask the right questions. Thank God we have programs like this, Jeff, that we can at least talk about it.
Well, we
try and help them.
We bless that opportunity every day.
Yep.
Hope it lasts.
I appreciate your allowing me to be on the show. And thank everyone. And
always.
Do email me. My email is jordanmaxwell@gmail.com. But the Jordan has no A. Jordan without the A. Jordan Maxwell @gmail.com.
Okay, that's JORDN Maxwell@gmail.com. So drop Jordan a line and tell him hello. He'd love to hear from you. And we wish you the best in getting your site back. And let's get the rest of that information out there, Jordan.
Right.
All right. Be well.
Thank you.
Okay. Jordan Maxwell. And thanks for being here Friday night. Have a wonderful weekend. And we'll be with you, of course, at Rense.com around the clock and back Sunday night for our encore. Talk soon.